Another day, another video. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are watching Lost. This is the 13th episode of the first season. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying it so far. If you'd like to watch today's full episode, it is available for free in a link in the description below. Just click on it, put the password in and enjoy. So story's picking up. It's getting really interesting. You know, got Shannon obviously trying to decipher these messages, these codes, these maps that Saeed's brought from Danielle last episode, and I'm glad that she's kind of being integrated into the team and actually taking part. You know, I was saying in the last outro that when Sawyer started to, you know, give a little bit to the camp, so to speak, his character's actually got so much more better. He's been more open and, you know, been really kind of enjoying his progression, if I'm being totally honest. Now, last episode was all kind of about Kate and a backstory and about this briefcase that was found when she was with Sawyer at the start of the episode, and how she was trying to get inside of it, but she wouldn't tell anybody what was there, and she was kind of like lying to Sawyer and lying to Jack, and she was like trying to double cross them in terms of like information. And, you know, we got a backstory of her kind of robbing a bank with a couple of these guys, and she's pretending to be a hostage, and she double crossed them, and all of it really was for this little plane, like this little toy plane, and she referenced it was a person that she killed and it belonged to them. So I mean, I thought like the build up was really good, and then the answer was just a meh, you know what I mean, if I'm being totally honest. But they have got the weapons now from that case, which is exciting, and they've got you know, ammunition as well, which is going to help hopefully on the mission to find Claire, which possibly we get some more of that in today's episode. That's what I want anyway. If I could choose today's episode, it would be a bit of a mission on to get Claire, / also finding out what Boone and obviously Locke found when obviously they was in the forest, because like Shannon mentioned last episode, they've been absent for 4 days. They keep venturing out and coming back and not telling anybody what they've been doing and what they've been finding. So clearly they found something, you know what I mean? So I would love to see it. And also, you know, it seems like the rest of the camp have to move up and integrate more into the island now, because the shore is actually coming in the tide, which again is really interesting, because now obviously there'd be less chance, say for example, of a boat seeing them, / obviously a plane flying over and catching them, which was their intentions obviously at staying there, you know, first time around. So now everybody's going to be together. It's going to be good to see obviously more people get involved and taking part. So that's where we currently are. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's episode. If you do, please smash a like, really helps out. Subscribe if you're new, and as always, let's jump into episode 13 of the first season of Lost.
I found these in the wreckage, and I have no use for them personally.
I swear this place is actually making my feet swell.
Another mysterious force on the island revealed.
Fuck going out hunting boar every day, right? We haven't had fresh pork on a plate in about a week, dude. People need food, man. Solid food.
Is that my phone?
Get out of here! Get the hell away from me!
Shannon.
Just stay out of here! Get the hell away!
Just tell me where you are. I'll come get you.
Trillia.
Stay away from my sister.
For a moment, you seem to be giving me an order.
It's just a friendly suggestion.
A suggestion?
Yes.
Found some fresh tracks down by the stream.
You need to put aside your differences with Saeed. He's hitting on Shannon. We don't want to make an enemy of him. We're going to want him on our side.
Is that why they got the axe last episode?
Anything I tell you is doctor-patient confidential, right? Been having some major digestive issues.
Well, it might help if you had a little bit more protein in your diet.
Dude, what can I do? There's no boar.
You're not eating those, are you?
Dude, these aren't for eating.
Oh yeah, dumping in the forest, innit? Never thought about that.
I can see you there, you know.
I wasn't hiding. Just didn't want to disrupt you from doing whatever it is you're doing. Please tell me you found a coffee bar.
Not quite.
Oh, she's taking part as well. Smart, you know. That is actually really smart.
It was all Sun.
Sun, mate, she is a good team player.
I was out picking fruit.
The boar running out, we're going to need as much food as we can possibly get.
Maybe Locke's just decided not to catch it for us anymore. If the boar's thinning out, then why should he feed it everyone else at his own expense?
1 second, was she kind of insinuating that he's kind of, I don't know, keeping the food to himself? I might have misread that in terms of that, but it's also pressure, isn't it? You know, you got all them heads there that need food, and they're all looking to you. That is proper pressure. You know what I mean? But I think that these are smart. You know, she's really smart here for creating that little thing and planting the seeds. They could get so much of that grow. They could get all of that grass planted and have so much of it, I think that is really, really clever. And she knows how to use the leaves and create like remedies. She had that eucalyptus, didn't she, that she put on, I can't remember who it was now. On Shannon, was it? So, I mean, she's a proper asset. I can't wait until they start integrating into conversations or talking, because Jin as well, you know, apparently he's catching fish, but we haven't seen him in ages. I think the last time we might have even seen him was his story when it was them two as a couple, do you know what I mean? And like her father and that. I would like to see more of them in the group, because he's kind of got like a thing going on with Michael as well, but I feel like she kind of has as well. Do you know what I mean? So I'm glad that they're kind of being used and mentioned again. I've not seen them in ages.
So not to be too difficult, but we've been coming here for 2 days just staring at this thing.
Michelangelo's father, he was a wealthy man. No child of his was going to use his hands for a living. Michelangelo learned not to use his hands and found the master staring at a single 18-foot block of marble. 3 years later, that block of marble was the statue of David.
We're not going to stare at this thing for 4 months, are we? We're going to open it.
Well, that's what we have to figure out. That's why we're sitting here.
Surprised they've not moved all the mud around it, me. I would have spread the mud all the way, because, like, it seems like they've only just scratched the surface.
Boone,
What's going on?
what are you doing here?
Happy to see you. Glad you're here. Something like that might work.
Listen, this isn't really the best time. Why don't you give me a call tomorrow?
Oh, I feel sorry for him there. She done well, though. She actually done really well there.
Let me know where you get the fish. Just point me in the right direction. I'll take care of my own business with my own tools.
You know, they're not going to keep believing that we're coming out here hunting. We never go
They're
back.
not ready.
I got to tell Shannon.
Why?
What do you mean, why? Because she's my sister.
Why do you care about her so much?
She's smart. She's special in a lot of ways. She can keep a secret.
You're sure?
Yes, I'm sure. She keeps asking me about this. She keeps asking about you, about the whole thing.
I honestly don't get it. Right, first of all, it kind of makes Locke look like he's not part of the original group, which, now by doing that, I kind of do feel like he is part of the originals. Do you know what I mean? I'm always like sus of everybody now. Obviously, Ethan and others have been mentioned. But the fact is, you know, I don't really get it. He's like, they're not ready. Why? Why are they not ready? Like, it sounds to me all you're doing is going over there and just sitting staring at that. Okay, you just told all this story about Michelangelo and all this about him going and staring at some marble for 4 years before carving it, right? But what I'm saying is, why can't other people go and sit there and stare at it? And they can also come up with ideas. Do you know what I mean? Like, why is it only you two? And then why is it when Boone wants to actually tell somebody, like, you don't like it and attack him? Do you know what I mean? Like, also, again, they've only scraped the surface of the little small boxed area, and I would have to clear all of the mud as far as I could go until I could tell that there was no tin, no metal left. Do you know what I mean? And then I would probably dig around it as well and see how deep it went. So, because, do you know what I mean? I would go down and across and see how big it actually is buried into the ground. All they've done is kind of wipe the leaves off the top, and they've been there, what, 4 or 5 days now?
What is this? I swear I won't tell anyone about the hatch thing, okay?
You're not gonna just leave me here?
Whether you stay is up to you. Camp is 4 miles due west.
Which way is west?
You'll be able to cut yourself free once you have the proper motivation.
You'd have to leave that in the ground. I wouldn't pull it out. I would try and reach the rope around it.
Sorry, Mr. Carlisle, but I'm afraid I can't help you. Unfortunately, sir, we'll need a little more to go on.
I don't understand this. I'm reporting a crime.
Whoa, sorry, sir.
Nobody wants to hear my side of the story. What kind
Now, if that were her mate, see, then I could help you.
Rutherford is her father's name.
So she's your stepsister. No.
Wow, okay, mate. Maybe he fancies her. Who knows? Imagine that.
In the absence of any physical evidence or a direct complaint from,
Shannon.
Shannon, we can't just go barging into people's apartments.
Sure you can. If I go to a police station now and say, my next door neighbour, I'm seeing him batter his wife, every day she's got bruises, you're telling me the police are just going to say, sorry, mate, unless she reports that she's getting battered, we're not going to look into it. That's ridiculous. That is like, if that's true, that is ridiculous. Like, he's literally saying, look, mate, I've seen my sister get physically beaten up by a boyfriend. I want someone to go check it out. Sorry, mate, we can't do that. Unless she reports it herself or we see him being crazy, we can't do anything. That's mad. Surely that's not true.
I want you to end it. Today, right now. What you don't understand, Brian, is that you'll be the 3rd guy I've paid to leave.
I love her.
How much?
My love for her.
50.
It's worth closer to 50,000.
I was looking forward to exploring the island. Somehow I ended up on a flight to LA instead. That falls under the category of be careful what you wish for.
You understand?
You did, didn't you? You just understood what I said.
I knew it.
Don't tell anyone.
I stepped on a friggin' urchin! No, just pee on it, man. You need
Did we see that in Friends?
pee on it! Pee! Pee on it! Pee on it!
Hi.
I didn't hear you.
Sorry. Sneakier than I give myself credit for. What are you doing out here, Saeed?
Orienteering. I'm trying to make something of Russo's maps, but
There's nothing to make. Maybe this will help your cause.
don't you need this?
Not anymore.
Is that a compass as well?
I'm tied up! Can you get over here?
Do you reckon he's just imagining her speaking? Maybe she was his proper motivation. Still not seeing it, have we? Yeah, I'd stay in there for ages, mate. Oh, mate, that was interesting. Mate, who's tied her up? Is she even there? Is he imagining it? You know what I mean? That's interesting. I mean, somebody's clearly attacked her out of the blue. And do you know what I mean? I tied her up if that was the case. And he said something interesting, that they're not even real blood siblings. Which means it's not that far-fetched that they could actually date. I know it sounds like obviously crazy because they are siblings, but did he said he met when he's both like 10 years old? That's quite late on. If I met somebody anyway in real life and he was like, look, you know, we're together, my dad met her dad, I'd be like, I wouldn't think it was that crazy. Do you know what I mean? I think I'd be like, okay, I can see why people would think it's weird, but it's also not because you're not really related. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, if he spent all this time with her, he's obviously going to catch his feels at some point in it. You know, if he sees her a certain way. So, I mean, it is interesting. You can see why he's obviously going over. He's kind of jealous, wasn't he, when he said that Saeed was flirting with her. So that kind of makes sense at the start of the episode now. Maybe the last one when we could see them looking at each other. Why he's actually thinking that. Because I thought he might have been possessed by the island, like whatever this was, like coming over and he's seen it and it went inside of him or something. You know what I mean? And it made him change his opinion. But no, it just looks like it might have been a bit of jealousy.
The sun's gonna set over there, so that makes that west. That'd be north.
Correct. That's where north should be. Yet that is north. A minor magnetic anomaly might explain a variance of 2 or 3 degrees, but not this.
Kind of had that in Stranger Things, didn't there, when he was trying to say about the compass?
What did you do to him? Locke, what did you do to that psycho to piss him off?
I didn't do anything to him.
You were supposed to come later.
Do you have any bags? We're getting out of this country. Oh, look at this. Hey, mate, you don't get this yet, do you? What's what? This whole thing is a setup.
Yo, I can't believe that.
Oh, you've done this before, you little bitch. All right, that's enough. Don't touch me, you low-life piece of...
Yo, if that was Damon, he'd be dead. His head would be ripped right off. Yo, that's made me dislike Shannon now.
It's been a while since you and I talked, Sean. Where's Boone?
I haven't seen him today.
How's the boar hunting going?
I'm afraid they're beginning to migrate outside our valley. Smart animals adapt quickly when a new predator is introduced into their environment.
I took English lessons in Korea. He doesn't know, it's complicated.
So why don't you tell him now?
I can't,
Why?
because I love him.
You sure you don't speak English? Your wife's hot.
If he did speak English, he'd be getting KO'd now, wouldn't
I eat this, you give me a fish, right?
he? I bet it's not even that bad. Okay.
Seen you around the caves lately.
I needed a change of scenery.
What do you think his story is?
The guy's a freak of nature, highly disturbed.
Chances are he probably killed all his mates at the post office the day his mum forgot to put a cookie in his lunch. There was one person on this island I would put my absolute faith in to save us all. It would be John Locke.
I've got to say, just a quick one. I'm happy that they kind of addressed the drug thing with Charlie, you know, because he said he was heroin addict. He's just literally just gone cold turkey like that and been sound. But no, we just seen him get a little tablet there. It's addressing it, you know what I mean? It progresses it. It shows that he's still obviously suffering a little bit and we can move on. Sometimes, you know, small little things are key. I like it. And if we just go back to the Shannon storyline, it's a bit disappointing that, isn't it, how she set Boone up multiple times before in the past to get money from him and used him in a way she blames his mum for taking her dad's money, it sounded like, but she's manipulated him and the way he feels for her and his love to take the money from their family in relation to obviously getting it from his mum. But he's just been the little guinea pig running around and doing it for her, which is upsetting. You know, last episode, I thought she'd done really well. And then this episode, it made me kind of like dislike her a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I judge people on the present, not the past stories. You know what I mean? You got to judge them in the now and what they could do on the island.
Go get the ball. Go get the ball. Good boy.
Dude, you find your own bag? That's awesome, man. You want to wish something on your worst enemy? Hope they step on a sea urchin.
Looks like he's gutted it as well
Dude,
for
this thing
him.
already been cleaned? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Put out your hand. You'll like it, I swear.
Guava seed.
It's a garden without guava.
You and Locke weren't hunting where you were doing something else.
Haven't we been over this before?
You're a horrible liar, Boone. He tied us up, Boone.
We found something. While we were out looking for Claire, we found this piece of metal buried in the jungle. But I told him I wanted to tell you, and that's when he did this.
Ah, here we go. Iris Carter. Yo, didn't expect that, mate. Yo, I did not expect that. Yo, he's got a nice room in. Look at that.
Brayden took the money.
Obviously.
He's gone.
So the player got played.
I bounced that check.
I knew you would. Because you're in love with me. You've always been in love with me.
You've always been a self-centered little bitch, but now you're delusional.
I've always known it. When we get back to LA, we'll just go back to what it was.
It's all up to you.
Where's she gone, man? Has he killed her? I don't even know. Oh, the blood. Oh, it doesn't look good, does it? Oh, she's got her be dead. Yo, I did not expect that at all, me, mate. Honestly, like, that's a crazy... Oh, it's not even finished.
You killed her!
You made it back.
He died in my arms.
Did it make him see it?
Hell just happened to me out there.
I don't know. You tell me. But your sister, Shannon?
Wow. Yeah, I actually thought she was dead, mate. I'm not gonna lie. Maybe it shows that he has to rid her from his life.
You dragged me.
I gave you an experience that I believed was vital to your survival on this island. How did you feel?
Sad and relieved.
I felt relieved.
It feels like she's a weight that he has to protect. That was a pretty good twist, actually. I do like it. And that's the ending of the episode. So I think it's been 2 episodes recently where they've teased us with deaths, but they've done it so well. Well, I thought both of them had died in both occasions, and then they didn't die. And like, you don't always have to have a death. I don't know if I mentioned it in the Charlie one, but it's the feel of the death that's like, you got the feel of the death, and then it had the impact. You know what I mean? And then when it turns out she's alive, you're like, okay, I'm still okay with that because I kind of went through that experience anyway. And it's like, if you watch a show and there's a clear lead main character and you're like, well, they're not gonna die, are they? Do you know what I mean? And even when they get shot, you're like, yeah, but if they killed them, show wouldn't work. Do you know what I mean? So you always know that they're going to be alive. But like these, you know, I have no idea who's going to be main cast, and that, you know, Jack and Kate seem to be kind of the main, but got to say, they don't really dominate the screen time, if I'm being honest. You know, like, Jack's not dominated it at all. He's had 2 kind of episodes like on him, but doesn't really hog it, which is good. It's spread quite across them all, which is very good. I like it. And I actually thought that Charlie died when he went over to him, especially when he was doing the CPR. The way Kate was selling it when she was crying, you know, the hitting on his chest and him not breathing. I was like, no way, man. I can't believe he's died. And then again here, just because of that whole situation, and like him running away, and obviously the blood and her body and it being ripped, I was like, wow. You know, I was going to do the pause now and say, I can't believe Shannon's died and all this at the end of the episode, because I sensed that we was like so close towards it. But it turns out it didn't even happen anyway, so I'm glad that I didn't pause it at the time that I thought she was dead, because I would have waffled so much about 3 seconds later that she's back alive. Do you know what I mean? But it is true. I got the feeling that basically, you know, Boone do whatever for his sister. Do you know what I mean? He's obviously hardcore in love with her. That's whatever your opinion is on that. It's just there. But it's a situation of sometimes jump out and then he's like, how high? Do you know what I'm saying? And no matter how much times she manipulates him and uses him and like twists and turns and just gets him to do everything for her, he'll still be there again, lapping it up back at her feet whenever she comes calling. And again, that's down to your opinion and how you believe, you know, if he's an idiot or not, or if he deserves it. Do you know what I mean? It's like, fool me once, fool me twice. You know what I mean? Like, basically, he's there getting fooled 24/7 all the time. You know what I mean? It seemed like in that backstory. I mean, she got fooled by that guy taking the 50k. It didn't surprise me at all. Like, I kind of sensed that would have happened. But she slept with him just before this crash, it seemed like. Because I thought that, I was going to say, I wonder how they got on this plane. Because they was obviously, like, in a hostile, kind of like a scenario. Do you know, like, when he last seen her, which was with the guy. And then obviously we know that they're on this island. So I was thinking, how's she gone from that position to being with him on the plane? But then we got that little segment there. So it kind of like they crashed in a good place. But you can kind of tell why Boone's actions have been happening now, in my personal opinion, just by looking at it and getting today's episode. But again, I kind of understood the episode again. How I knew that he'd be relieved when he thought she was dead. Because it's something, you know, like basically she's always a worry and something that he's got to consider and think about and protect, when I don't really think that she thinks that in that same mindset as he does about her. Do you know what I mean? So very interesting, mate. What did the island make Locke see though? That is the question. That's going to wrap up today's episode 13 in the bag. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. It's been very good recently, hasn't it? You know, it's kept us guessing here and there. Nearly had deaths coming and going. Do you know what I mean? It's been really, really interesting. Cassie's still the same size. Thought if Shannon did die, I'd be like, whoa, mate. You know, I did not expect that, considering she was obviously getting kind of closer towards Saeed last episode and obviously helping him decipher the information from the map. Now, speaking about Saeed, it's interesting now he was looking at the compass and he was saying north should be in one direction, so to speak, and the compass is saying it's in a different one. Now he's saying that right now it's a faulty compass, but I feel like he was making his own compass, and he also noticed that north wasn't in the right place. But then also in the conversation with Jack, you know, he said that he's seen Locke, and then I don't know if Jack was thinking, well, he's supposed to be going in that direction. Have you seen him coming in this one? Do you know what I mean? That's why he went over and he was questioning him about the hunting. But also, okay, they found this door and they're trying to get into it and they can't do it. And you know, it's been a couple of days they haven't got into it. But the fact is, yeah, that people need food. Like, you need to have one day where you don't go to the door and go out and get yourself a boar, because yeah, you don't want to raise questions, but if you're supposed to be doing one thing and you're completely and utterly failing, it's going to raise questions. It just is. Best way to keep everybody off your back is by actually coming and bringing the goods home. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if next episode they brought a couple of boars home, then that's going to keep everybody sweet. You can go out, you can do your research, you can go and try and get into it again. But the episode was interesting how he tied him up, and he was obviously trying to, you know, basically... It was interesting how he was saying that he wanted to go and tell Shannon, then he knocked him out, and then obviously the islands come to him, and then he's seen a story that Shannon's kind of the one holding him back. Locke kind of knew that, and that was his incentive the whole time. Very, very interesting. Like I said, I really would like to see what Locke actually seen. I was going to say, when it potentially killed Shannon, why has it killed Shannon? Because, you know, we've seen it kill the pilot, and we've seen it kill Shannon, but we haven't seen it kill Locke, and why was he so special? It would have made me suspect him as being an islander, basically. Yo, that's when I'm going to start calling them islanders. Instead of, obviously, the survivors. Because, obviously, he was left. But then it turns out that that didn't happen and she didn't die. And then, obviously, it excited me with, obviously, the visions that he's seen and potentially what Locke's seen. Now, again, I would love it. Absolutely love it if they open that bunker and they go down and it's like a full-on thing like we had in the 100. Where it could have like 4,000 people living down there. There was like caves and, you know, areas and facilities and places to live and like a big massive fighting pit and all that. Do you know what I mean? It's a craziness, an underground world. I don't want it to just be a room. Like, do you remember when Finn and Clark went down and he found that little room and he ended up staying there for the night while the gas passed? I don't want it to be like that. I want it to be a full-on bunker style where loads of people live and survive. And like, do you know what I mean? That's why it's so hard to get in, because it's obviously locked tight, mate, from them and Ethan and co under there. So again, we didn't see nothing about Claire, even though I'd love to see what's going on with her and the baby. Kind of had a progression of Jin and obviously his wife as well in this episode, speaking to Kate in English and him kind of helping her, showing that they're not bad people and they can integrate. And I feel like the last few episodes it's all been about integration. I feel like they're integrating and helping out in today's. We've seen Shannon obviously doing a little bit obviously in yesterday's, and then the one before we've seen Sawyer as well trying to help out. So everybody's now taking part and joining in and you know, all becoming a bit of a team player. And that's what we like to see, isn't it? And I also like how they address that Charlie's still taking his drugs. Well, not drugs, but he still needs them a little bit and he's taking a couple of pills. Because obviously that would have been a question I would have raised a couple of episodes down the line, considering that, you know, he was a drug addict and he's just gone completely cold turkey with no effects. I like how he's still tapering him off it. It does make total sense. That's where we currently are. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Really good last 3 episodes. If you can't wait for the next one, please smash a like. Really helps out. Subscribe if you're new. And as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.